Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Ojiji-Ochi. Now let's begin. Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State has formally expressed appreciation of the government and people of his state to the federal government for sustaining the upward trajectory in critical sectors of the state's economy for a prosperous future. The governor delivered the message to President Muhammadu Buhari in the State House, from where correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Thank you, sir. A hearty welcome for the Nasarawa State Governor by President Muhammadu Buhari during the thank you visit. Governor Abdullahi Sule and the people of Nasarawa are still basking in the euphoria of the relative peace achieved in parts of the state due to unprecedented support of the federal government, as well as the approval of a teaching hospital for the state in Lafia.
We also express appreciation to him for his support with the oil discovery that has just taken place in Nasarawa State, that is going to have the first oil that will start operation in the next few days. To thank him also for the support for the setting up of the Agricultural Machinery Institute that is almost completed right now in Nasarawa State, which Mr. President personally came in to be the one who will inaugurate it.
The governor also used the opportunity to make a case for immediate takeoff of the construction of the Ngitata Panda Gurukumbape Road, already approved by the Federal Executive Council.
We are hoping that it will be taken, this year. But in addition, we didn't just go to rest. If you have been following that road, the state government had taken the initiative at least to start clearing of the road and doing more of like rural road, all the way from Gitata, coming to Panda. So now from Gitata to Panda, it takes you just 15 minutes, instead of taking you around 50 minutes in the past. In addition to that, around Gurku, most of the bridges, we were able to award contracts for fixing them, and they have been fixed. We have also done alternatives right now. Work has started now between Masaka and Luvu, where a lot of residents actually live. We just awarded the contract last week, and then work has commenced yesterday. So a lot is going on in Karu, but it all depends on what area of work you want to see.
President Buhari and the Nasarawa State Governor also discussed the flag-off of the APC presidential campaign in Nasarawa, scheduled for the 4th of February.
Chances are bright. Chances are excellent, both at the national and at the state level. In Nasarawa, as you know, the three senators happen to be from the same party, the governor from the same party, 20 out of the 24 members of House of Assembly, all APC, and we have done the best we can, for the state. And I think people appreciate that. And we strongly believe we should be able to win the election.
And giving update on the livestock transformation plan, the governor said Nasarawa keyed into the project not only in response to the anti-grazing law in the neighboring Benue State, but also for peace to reign, as herders, as citizens of Nigeria, also deserve protection and indeed a sense of belonging. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has sent a letter to his Chinese counterpart, President Xi Jinping, felicitating with the government and the good people of China, as well as the Chinese community in Nigeria on the occasion of the Chinese New Year, beginning January the 22nd. In the personally signed letter, President Muhammadu Buhari states, on the occasion of the Chinese New Year, the Year of the Rabbit, beginning from January 22nd, 2023, I write on behalf of the government and people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to extend our warmest felicitations and best wishes to Your Excellency, the Chinese government, Chinese people, as well as the Chinese community in Nigeria. Still on quote, I am very delighted that Nigeria's bilateral relations and cooperation with China has remained firm and strong as you partner with the Nigerian government in your developmental strides, especially on infrastructure, agriculture, trade, power, and security. It is also worthy to note that despite the instability around the world in the year 2022, China continued to exert positive influences in global affairs and witnessed the successful 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China, which has brought China to embark on a new journey to build a modern socialist country in all respects under your leadership. As you celebrate the new year, my belief is that the year of the rabbit will bring more development and prosperity to the People's Republic of China and further extend the very cordial relations between our two countries into new achievements and progress. Congratulations. End of quote. The Senate has embarked on the process of addressing challenges associated with retirement benefits of officers and men of the Nigeria Police Force. A bill to that effect has been subjected to public hearing by the Senate Committee on Police Affairs. Ignatius Nkwo reports.
In June 2022, the bill seeking to establish a separate pension board for the Nigeria Police passed second reading in the Senate. 7 months after, members of the public have been engaged to make inputs in the proposed law. Senate, through the bill sponsored by Senator Elisha Abu, wants a reform, that is, creating a separate pension platform for the force, just like the Military Pension Board and others.
There's a need to continue to grow their capacities given the changing dynamics of criminality.
We are not unaware that the after retirement has in recent time become a serious challenge to retired officers.
More so when a man feels that you are only using him today, that when he drops this uniform, you will not take care of him tomorrow. How do you expect him to give his best?
Pension Commission, Pension Fund Operators of Nigeria, Nigerian Labour Congress and others made their positions clear.
The National Pension Commission would at any time support enhancement of pension for police officer or any Nigerian worker for that matter. However, the position is that the DBS has failed in Nigeria.
It's for us to insist that before a police leaves service or if he dies, his gratuity should be ready.
Our first come from sustainability. So the police request to exempt from the CPS, it means taking Nigeria back to the dark ages before the pension reforms.
The Nigeria Police Special Force Academy Gwoza Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Aline Dume, was also subjected to public hearing.
To provide the necessary training for our police.
Our concern is that there's already another bill which was approved on Wednesday this very week by the Federal Executive Council, FEC. The bill has covered the grounds for this particular bill.
I wish to express on behalf of the Nigerian Police Force our immense gratitude to the sponsors of these laudable bills.
The police academy is already in existence. The bill seeks to grant it the status of a degree awarding institution. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The Supreme Court has affirmed Mohammed Umar Jega as the APC candidate for Gwandu Alero Mega Federal Constituency in the coming National Assembly election. In a judgment prepared by Justice Kudirat Kekere Ekun, the court held that Mohammed Umar Jega, who pulled the highest number of votes at the All Progressives Congress primary election held in May 2022, is the authentic candidate to contest the coming election into the Gwandu Alero Jega Federal Constituency. While striking out the appeal of the appellant, Kabiru Labo, whose name was submitted to the INEC by the APC, it held that the primary election that produced him was not recognized by the electoral body. The Court of Appeal had earlier affirmed the election of Mohammed Umar Jega before the appeal by Kabir Labo to the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja has vacated An interim forfeiture of 40 landed property granted against the former Deputy Senate President, Senator Ike Ekweremadu. Justice Inyang Eko vacated the order following a discovery that the forfeiture order was not properly obtained by the federal government against the property. The judge, while lifting the order, held that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which obtained the order on behalf of the federal government, concealed information that led to granting it. Justice Eko specifically said that EFCC, which was fully aware that Ekweremadu was in custody in the United Kingdom, failed to make the vital information available to court. With his detention in London, the judge agreed with Chief Adeboyega Awomolo SAN, counsel to Ekweremadu, that there was no way former Deputy Senate President would be opportune to defend his ownership of the disputed properties. Justice Eko had, on November 4th last year, issued the interim forfeiture order in favor of the federal government, following an ex-parte application brought before him by the EFCC. A 9-member committee charged with the responsibility of reviewing the NTA administrative manual to bring it up to date with contemporary issues has presented copies of the reviewed manual to the management board of the NTA. Steve Lonai Nwaokolo has details of this report.
In the reviewed copies of the NTA administrative manual to the management, led by the Director General Abdul Hamid Salihu Dembos, Chairman of the reviewing committee Haja Miriam Biwel gave insights into some of the areas of amendments of the manual to include improvement on the provision of staff clinic and prompt payments of relocation allowance to redeployed members of staff.
We looked at staff development, study leave and sponsorship. The committee felt that NTA should no longer recruit unqualified personnel. When they come as graduates, we send them to our own training organization where they acquire either diplomas or proficiency training in the core areas of broadcasting.
The Director General of NTA, Abdul Hamid Dembos, expressed gratitude to the committee and assured that due consideration would be given to the operationalization of the manual.
I want to state that this has been made today with the presentation of the draft of the NTA conditions and scheme of service, as the last approved administrative manual was produced over 2 decades ago. Indeed, it is a very deep sense of appreciation that I thank members of the committee for this wonderful job.
The NTA Administrative Manual Review Committee, which has the mandate of updating NTA working documents, started work since July 2022. In Abuja, Steve Lonai Nwaokolo, NTA News.
Few weeks to the climax of the nation's transition process and subsequent change of leadership, the All Progressives Congress is engaging Nigerians on the need to make informed decisions in the 2023 election. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
February 25th, the scheduled date for presidential election is fast approaching, and different political platforms are being deployed to canvass for block votes. And the Voters Education Initiative Support Group of the governing All Progressives Congress (APC) is gathering momentum in this political adventure towards delivering the mandate of its presidential candidate.
Now, you won't tell me, follow me, let us do it, and you let me say, and I voted one part that for 15 years, and we were suffering and smiling.
No matter how you like Asuwaju and Shetima ticket, or APC by extension, if you don't cast your vote, if your vote is not counted, it's useless.
I want everyone here to participate actively in this exercise and engage people in your locality to get their PVC.
It's important that you look at what works and know how to help to strengthen those women in that area.
You touch your PVC first and go need to cast vote. That is our right. We will not get the renewed hope of our principal Ahmed Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima.
The group says the task of consolidating on the gains achieved by APC can only be guaranteed through continuity and transformative leadership, which only the party can offer. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
If elected into power, APC will consolidate on its achievements for the overall development of the country. Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State announced during the APC rally in Afikpo North local government area of the state. He further urged the people that good fortune awaits due to the crop of competent leaders in the party. Governorship candidate Francis Nwifuru, party chairman Stanley Okore-Emera, and others were not left out in the demand for Ebonyi people to vote APC.
And also to promise you that we will complement the effort of the governor as my deputy governor candidate said. I will do that. And in doing that, His Excellency the governor had promised you the NDB bridge. That bridge, we must do it. Within 2 years in our office, we must do that bridge.
The women were not left out as the governor's wife took turns to urge women to show solidarity to the party, especially with the fact that the party has a woman as its deputy governor. Following the conclusion of the People's Democratic Party rally in Benue, Northwest and East, the party has taken its campaign train to the Benue South, where pledges of roads, rehabilitation and creation of wealth in the state economy were placed on the front burner. Charles Abba was there.
The Democratic Party continues with its rally in Obi, Oju and Otukpo local government areas. The issue of ensuring that the blueprint of security and agriculture initiated by the PDP governorship standard bearer are religiously executed when given the mandate.
We have 3 senators, and the 3 senators are we have the governor and the deputy governor, all of them are
The deputy governor, Benson Abono, stated that PDP stands strong to clinch all-round victory in the coming polls. Senator Abamoro and the member, House of Representatives for Obi Oju Federal Constituency, Samson Oko, and the candidate for the Obi Oju State Assembly, Moses Ebodo, harped on ensuring that the Otukpo, Obi Oju Federal Road, and others in dilapidated forms are fixed.
PDP needed a lot of dividends of democracy for our people. This is what we continue to do. And because our people have seen us do it before, they still believe that we can do it again. Because the development of the state and the zone is like work in progress.
Obariki to Alede Road. And we have this, the federal road, which is the Otukpo road, which is actually need some maintenance. But I personally, I have put some money in the budget through the office of the Speaker of the Federal House of Rep, through the Ministry of Works, and I believe that that maintenance will be done very soon.
They further aver that the party's candidates for various elective positions have the capacity to deliver on their campaign promises. From Otukpo, Charles Abba, NTA News.
The Nigerian Television Authority is providing needed training for personnel and infrastructure for effective coverage of the 2023 general elections. The Executive Director News, Mohamed Labo, gave this assurance when a delegation from the European Union Observation Mission, Nigeria 2023, came seeking for partnership ahead of the polls. Joseph Otsen reports.
The 2023 general elections are drawing closer. While the political gladiators are busy campaigning for votes, the gatekeepers are equally preparing for coverage and monitoring of the exercise. Among major observers of elections in Nigeria is the European Union, and its election observation mission is already on ground, working on modalities to monitor the exercise across the country.
40 long-term observers who will be trained here in the capital. Closer to the election day, our mission will be also joined by the group of members from the European Parliament. Then the mission will be also joined by locally recruited short-term observers. Those people are diplomats from the embassies that are accredited to Nigeria from the European Union member states. The mission is impartial.
For NTA, it is a familiar territory, yet preparation to surpass previous performance is ongoing, with the Executive Director News, Mohammed Lambo, reaffirming NTA's commitment to elaborate and credible coverage from all fronts.
You know, there's also the NBC code and also our own in-house rules. So these are basically the provisions that will guide our operations in NTA. Already we have been monitoring the election all over, the campaigns all over the country. We have not left out any political party. We have covered every party. We have made available to them multiple platforms that we have to come and speak to Nigerians, via our platforms, and they have been coming.
The EU Election Observation Mission says it will be presenting its detailed analysis and recommendations after the whole elections. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
The vice presidential candidate of the APC, Senator Kashim Shettima, has promised people-oriented programs to Nigerians he voted into power in the 2023 elections. He made the promise when he visited the Emir of Gwandu, Mohammed Ilyasu Abashar, at his palace in Benin Kebbi. Abubakar Garba Digi has a report.
That was the APC presidential candidate receiving blessings and prayers of the Emir of Gwandu for a successful election come 2023. The Emir advised him not to forget the masses who supported his ambition if his party wins the election.
On the nomination of who and who will become the next leaders of the country in the 2023 election, the political parties have done well by selecting those that are willing to focus on the development of Nigeria without minding the ethnic or religious differences.
The APC vice presidential candidate Kashim Shettima thanked the Emir for his blessings, pledging to carry the people along if elected.
And nobody in this country can bludgeon his way to power through threats, intimidation, and blackmail. Politics and democracy is a game of numbers. Your ability to reach out and build bridges and win the hearts and minds of the people is much more important than issuing threats and blackmail.
Senator Kashim Shettima was accompanied on the visit by the Kebbi State Governor, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, and the other top party stalwart in Benin Kebbi. Abubakar Garba Digi, NTA News.
Now we go over to Lagos, where Adiola is standing by with more reports. Hello, Adiola.
Hello. A book titled Whispering of a Broadcast Jewel has been launched in Lagos to celebrate a career spanning up to 40 years of Hajia Amina Mohammed. Associates, colleagues and friends say Hajia Amina Mohammed has triumphed and remained relevant in the media industry. Lanre Belay, who was at the ceremony, breaks details.
The celebration gave room for the veterans in the broadcast industry to add their voice to contending issues in the industry, especially that revolving around post-COVID-19 content production. Issues ranging from unrestrained information dissemination on social media to the role of women in the broadcast industry were all discussed and are contained in the book.
So I believe that the rules should be a bit flexible with the women in media and broadcasting, to the extent that they will actually be able to take care of other things that really draw women a bit back.
The 150-page book, Whisperings of Broadcast Jewel, unveiled as part of the highlights of the program. It is a compendium of Hajia Amina Mohammed's experience in the broadcast industry.
And since I met her, she's been consistent in what she's doing in the area of programming.
By this book, I think it's going to be like it's an archive of her, experience in the industry.
She was talking true to her element, which is she believes in what she's doing. She believes that the best way we can do it is to lead by example.
Citizen journalism, it has become all commerce and people now do whatever they like.
But we of old, that they call old school, we still take on some of these ethics to be able to sieve the good from the bad, and we're able to really do the right thing.
Awards were presented to distinguished personalities, organizations, mentors, sponsors, and professional colleagues, in which NTA was among. In Lagos, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
And despite growing its revenue collection by 55% in 2022, the Customs Strike Force Team A says it will not relent in the quest to end economic sabotage as well as protect public safety. This, the zone demonstrated with the seizure of a truckload of cannabis sativa with duty-paid value of more than 516 million naira, as well as 750 bags of foreign rice worth 42.3 million naira. Joel Popola has details.
Picking up its actually in the fight against smuggling activities, in which more than 5.8 billion naira was generated in year 2022, representing 55% increase from what was collected in 2021. The coordinator Strike Force Team A, Comptroller Mohammed Sani Yusuf, is optimistic the customs is winning the battle against smugglers. As part of its mandate of safeguarding the importation of harmful substances capable of truncating public order, these heaps of cannabis sativa weighing 5,124 kilograms were intercepted through intelligence reports. Valued at 516 million naira, the customs confirmed that the substances were imported into the country from Canada.
So you can imagine hard-earned foreign exchange to bring in such kind of goods instead of diverting such monies for useful venture is unfortunate. Unfortunately, like I said, some security agents were also involved. So at the end of the day, we're there at the point of arrest. So we could not make any arrest. We're able to tow the vehicle and the perpetrators ran away.
The Strike Force team also intercepted 750 bags of foreign parboiled rice with duty-paid value of 42,300,000 naira, which was concealed in a truck disguised as cement.
Nigerians should desist. The federal government is doing so much to make sure that they encourage local farmers, a lot of farmers, to make sure that we have food sufficiency.
11 bags of second-hand clothing with duty-paid value of 2.7 million naira was also intercepted by the anti-smuggling unit. The controller warned smugglers to desist from their unpatriotic acts, as the strike force will work round the clock to suppress smuggling and other acts of economic sabotage. In Lagos, Joel Popola, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Do not forget that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. We shall take some messages. We'll be right back with Lydia in Abuja when we return to stay.
Nigeria, we go free. Everything on the party, now one more be a everything on the party, now one more be a who be the president we need? Who be the president we go for?
People of Nigeria don't talk, oh. Them say na Asiwaju Bola Tinubu them want as president of Nigeria. Our country people get many reasons we make them all agree say na Asiwaju Bola Tinubu them choose for this president election. Yes, so Bola Tinubu na man wey sabi anything wey him put in hand, he dey work wella. He do better work for Lagos State when he be governor. Till today, Lagos people see they enjoy from all the better things wey Jaburata for Lagos. People of Nigeria, e good to make we vote for who sabi. As it can't be so, make we all come out for election day and vote Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president of Nigeria. Vote Senator Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC, the party with the broom.
Who be the president we go for?
Weekend File, your Saturday delight, going to places from the obscure to the hinterland and cities, bringing you development stories and perspectives, connecting the people with government and stakeholders on critical issues of our national life.
We are live in Abuja.
It's 9 p.m. every Saturday on the network service of the NTA. Weekend File, you can't afford to miss it.
Nigeria is at the crossroads. Nigerians yearn for a rescuer, and the time to choose wisely is now. Who will save our fatherland? Who will rescue Nigeria? Only one man. He is battle ready, tested and trusted, capable and dependable. He is Atiku Abubakar. We call him the unifier on a rescue mission. He's detribalized, uncompromised, and ready to make Nigeria great again. Atiku is coming together with Ifeanyi Okowa. This team is unbeatable. This is no time for sentiment. It's time for competence. Atiku is the best option for a brighter tomorrow. Let's vote Atiku for president come 2023. Vote PDP. Power to the people. This message is sponsored by Atiku Okowa Coalition, Edo State.
Thank you for staying. The new commander of the Presidential Guards Brigade, Brigadier General Aminu Mohammed Umar, has formally assumed duty. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that General Umar has already received President Muhammad Buhari's blessings.
The new commander, Presidential Guards Brigade, Brigadier General Aminu Umar, was formally introduced to President Muhammad Buhari by the outgoing commander, Major General Muhammad Takuti Usman.
How are you? Fine. From where are you?
From the Army headquarters.
Yes. What were you doing in the Army headquarters?
I was the Chief of Staff to the Chief of Army Staff, sir.
Chief to the Chief. Okay, you are welcome.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to leave you soon.
Major General Takuti Usman, who served as commander of the Guards Brigade for 3 years, now moves to Ibadan as General Officer commanding 2 divisions of the Nigerian Army.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your commitment.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. He's taking about 2 years.
The Presidential Guards Brigade, now to be commanded by Brigadier General Aminu Umar, is responsible for protecting the President of Nigeria, securing Abuja, the nation's capital, as well as performing ceremonial duties. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
As this year's Technology and Innovation Expo ends, the federal government has encouraged the organized private sector to take advantage of the research results and prototypes showcased at the Expo for uptake and commercialization to foster national economic development. Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Adeleke Mamora, made the appeal as he declared the expo closed after 5 days of convergence by researchers, innovators, and investors. Justin Bemunyi reports.
The 7th edition of the Science, Technology and Innovation Expo featured an exhibition of the most innovative inventions and ideas from inventors and innovators from across the country. This was a showcase of the talents and capabilities of the nation's brightest minds. As the expo comes to a close after 5 days, these crop of researchers and innovators have been encouraged to continue to pursue their ideas and innovations as they are the driving force behind the diversification of the economy. Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation says he is impressed by the level of creativity and ingenuity displayed and affirms government commitment to supporting these individuals as they bring their ideas to the market.
We need to remind ourselves that the role of science, technology and innovation in diversifying the Nigerian economy is not and cannot be a one-time event. It is a continuous process that requires the effort of all stakeholders. We must sustain the momentum, continue to support and encourage the growth of technology and innovation, and also create an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive.
In an effort to support the growth and development of these individuals and institutions, prizes and awards were given to the best 3 out of each categories of exhibitions from research institutions, tertiary institutions, junior engineers, technicians and scientists, secondary schools and state governments, the informal sector, and other outdoor activities including fabrications. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
The Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, HYPADEC, says it is set to ingest about 1.2 billion naira into the rehabilitation and expansion of new Busa water works in Borgu local government area of Niger State. Director, Community and Rural Development of the Commission, Dr. Mahmoud Umar Mohammed, who stated this during the formal handing over of the project site to the contractors, said the effort is to put a permanent end to perennial problem of accessing potable water supply that is bedeviling the area. Kabir Abdullahi reports.
The project seeks to address the perennial challenge of acute water shortage bedeviling New Busa and its environs. It is also one of the numerous viable programs of the Commission aimed at providing succor to its benefiting communities. Managing Director, HYPADEC, Abubakar Sadiq Yelwa, represented by the Director, Community and Rural Development, Dr. Mahmoud Umar Mohammed, says HYPADEC has made modest achievements since it commenced activities over a year ago.
For the contractors, please be careful. You must do your work according to specification, otherwise, in fact, I'm going to be instrumental to revocation of your contract. Believe me, sincerely speaking.
We are also grateful to the government for creating HYPADEC. Honestly, we're enjoying the benefit today.
New Busa water scheme, which has a capacity of 10,000 cubic meter per day, is one of our strategic plan. We've in the past attempted to do it, but because of paucity of funds, we were not able. But again, we appreciate HYPADEC.
The rehabilitation and expansion of New Busa Water Works, which is expected to last for 6 months, will be handed over in June this year. In New Busa, Kabir Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria is speeding up its naira redesign sensitization in a bid to ensure a hitch-free process. Musa Abubakar reports that Apex Bank's sensitization team was at the old Garki market, Abuja.
Whether it's old or new, traders at Old Garki market welcome both currencies, but not after 31st, when the current series of 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes will cease to be legal tender. Traders gathered here are curious whether the CBN will extend the deadline, although a significant number of them are working to see their monies deposited.
The objective now to say, okay, the more you move money to the banking system, the less cost of cash. So if you look at the net effect, the cost of printing the money is less than cost of handling the money. So it's a benefit to central bank, as central bank can use that money to give to them to provide the necessary infrastructure.
The CBN remained resolute on the set deadline. Electronic channels are the alternative options the Apex Bank says traders can take advantage of as the country opts for cashless policy. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The framework enabling quality and effective utilization of manpower resources in the business of the economy is about receiving a boost. This is as the federal government inaugurates the newly reconstituted Governing Council of the Center for Management Development, CMD. Nena Oko reports.
These are the new members of the Governing Council of Center for Management Development, in addition to 7 institutional members representing critical stakeholders in management development in Nigeria. The inauguration marks a new beginning of their roles and responsibilities as board members.
You are thus enjoined to come up with innovative policies, programs, and projects which will support the mandate of CMD toward improved productivity of the managerial workforce and national development.
Chairman of the Governing Council, Bintu Shuaibu, on behalf of other members, is grateful for the privilege of service to the nation and promises not to disappoint.
We shall work hard for as long as the Governing Council lasts for the progress of CMD.
From the act establishing the board, the new Governing Council is expected as a policy-making body to advise the Minister of State, Budget and National Planning on policies, plans and programs for the enhancement of the number, quality and effective utilization of the managerial manpower resources of the country in all sectors of the economy. Nneka Oko, NTA News.
The recurring fuel scarcity causing queues at petrol stations in the FCT has resurfaced, with pump price ranging from 195 naira per litre and above. Aisha Bali visited some stations and brings us an update.
Situation and the FCT can best be likened to the J.P. Clark's book titled Abiku. The lingering fuel situation, according to motorists, is the most frustrating experience in recent times.
I tell you the truth about the whole situation. Actually, I came from Kuge, so I have to drive back to Kuge, but there's no way I can take this vehicle to Kuge.
On myself, 195, whilst on myself, 185, so myself, 200. The same this town.
Chaos can best characterize the situation at most of the stations visited by NTA crew. While some motorists have resolved to buying from the roadside vendors, popularly called black markets, others keep wondering how these illegal vendors get the products seamlessly. Even as some places remain orderly, others are looking for how to manage the crowd, especially the impatient motorists. At the end, the appeal by motorists is transparency on the side of the authorities.
This is one of the fuel stations here at the central area, to be precise, area 2. Most of the motorists have complained of being on the queue for over 4 hours with no hope in sight to get fuel. But trust the Nigerian system, some are coming from behind to shunt the line to go get fuel. But it has been alleged that the cause of this queue or scarcity which has surfaced is because NNPC has increased the fuel price to 185, which will know that the NNPC is not involved in the fuel price. Rather, the mainstream and downstream regulatory agency is solely involved in the fuel price.
Perhaps this situation might be one challenge the next administration will inherit. In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
Time for another break, after which we join Jenny in Port Harcourt. Stay with us.
Country one better. Our country one better. Who go do one for us? Papa talk and move. Mama talk and move. For a better Nigeria. Good life in car. Now you we want to. Now you we need to.
Yes, so people of Nigeria, they jolly for the better when one shell for we country so ready to vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria. Our people don't look the matter well. Only Bola Tinubu don't do what everybody fit see. Now him get the experience where he go fit use take make our country better, make life sweet for we and our picking them. Bola Tinubu don't gather better plan to chase down war for we youth, better school, the security of lives and property, unity and peace for all we country people of Nigeria. But these and many other better things when in don't vocalize. It good make we all vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for president of Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC, the party where show broom. Now you
Why should we be in a difficult situation financially?
Once upon a time we were rich, but we're not a rich country anymore.
Disaster management is everybody's business.
In all these times, the organization turned to Nigeria.
We
would as much want to harness the capacity that is within us so that we see how we can become self-reliant.
1 month ended, and you said you are increasing warning strike by 2 months. I mean, you are incubating madness.
Even if these are officials of government who have been told to go and enforce the law and they have gone against the law itself, they must be held accountable.
One-on-One, Friday, 10:30 p.m. on NTA Network.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. The Independent National Electoral Commission has been tasked to align itself with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities to exercise their franchise during the forthcoming general elections. Ijeoma Ogwueke examines the level of preparedness on the part of the authorities.
The United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities agreed and proclaimed that persons with disabilities have the same civil and political rights as other human beings, and they are entitled to all fundamental freedoms and rights, including voting in elections. In recognition of this declaration and the new Electoral Act, which provides for inclusion of persons with disabilities in elections, there are calls for prompt actions by INEC to make adequate provisions for this set of persons. This is to enable them participate as many persons living with hearing impairment and other disabilities were disenfranchised during the previous elections due to lack of interpreters and nearby voting units.
There should be a special scheme mapped up to accommodate persons with disabilities. But those who are qualified, we cannot compete favorably with others given the harsh environment we find ourselves.
Section 54, I told you, has made a proper arrangement for those that are living with disabilities to be part of our system. These are some of the measures that are being put in place that has made this election that is going to come different from other elections.
We have this disaggregated data of where they are situated all over the country, so that in deploying materials we will be able to say, okay, in polling unit 001 in ward 10 there are 3 persons with this kind of disabilities, and we know, okay, we're sending magnifying glasses there, or we're sending braille ballot paper there.
Electoral rights, according to INEC, are inclusive, and all measures are being put in place to ensure marginalized groups are attended to first during voting, including persons with disabilities. In Port Harcourt, Ijeoma Ogwueke, NTA News.
In line with the federal government's drive to improve road infrastructure, the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing has inaugurated internal roads in Federal Medical Center, Yenegwa. Ebitimi Zitimi Yola reports.
The importance of motorable roads in a medical facility like the Federal Medical Center FMC Yenagwa cannot be overemphasized. These form the rehabilitation and reconstruction of 380 meters internal roads in the Federal Medical Center Yenagwa, Bayelsa State, by the federal government through the Ministry of Works and Housing. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola, represented by the Controller, Ministry of Works, Bayelsa State, Patrick Inaji, noted that the project, which is a critical federal government intervention to support the health sector, is replicated in other federal institutions.
We have successfully intervened in 64 internal road projects in various federal tertiary institutions through federal hospitals and handed over a total of 46 as at March 2022.
Medical Director, Federal Medical Center Yenagwa, Professor Dennis Alagwa, represented by the head of clinical services, Dr. Peter Alabra, expressed gratitude to the federal government. He said the project has not only enhanced the aesthetic of the medical facility, but will also ease movement.
We also want to use this occasion to express our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. President for all the other laudable projects that have been executed from the time of inception of his administration up to now.
Principal officers from the Works Ministry and Federal Medical Center were in attendance. In Yenagwa, Ebinimi Zditemiola, NTA News.
And that's it from Port Harcourt. Is now back to Lydia in Abuja.
Thank you, Jenny. A meeting between the National Peace Committee, NPC, and political parties and candidates in the forthcoming general elections is underway in Abuja. The event, which is expected to culminate in another peace accord signing, is being chaired by former head of state and chairman of the NPC, General Abdulsalami Abubakar. Musbadan Wahab reports that candidates including APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, vice presidential candidate of the PDP Ifeanyi Okowa, are attending the event, now in a closed session. Details will come in our subsequent bulletins. Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola has commiserated with the families of slain personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps who were ambushed in Chukwu local government area of Kaduna State recently. Commandant General of the Corps, Ahmed Abubakar Audi, delivered the message on behalf of the minister during a condolence visit to the families in Abuja.
It is the first official visit of the Commandant General, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to its Kaduna command. Commandant General Ahmed Abubakar Audi is here to commiserate with families of its slain personnel in Chukwu local government area of Kaduna State. Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola.
It was a very devastating news.
During the families, the commandant said the Corps has put in place policies and insurance to cater for its personnel, describing the late personnel as heroes.
We love them. God loves them most. And so he has taken them. He has his reasons.
Checks and replacements were offered to the families as they pray for the repose of the soul of the deceased. The Commandant General charged the personnel to always be at alert. Members of the deceased family thanked the Corps for commiserating and standing by them in their trying times. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
In furtherance of the role of the private sector as a major driver of Nigeria's industrialization, the Muhammadu Buhari administration convened a business summit, a Nigeria International Economic Partnership Forum, on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, United States, in September 2022. The presidential summit, which was jointly hosted by the Office of the Chief of Staff, the Business Council on International Understanding, and the Nigerian Mission in Washington, was successful in reiterating the fact that the Nigerian economy has been able to sustain its growth and recovery momentum despite the globally induced and locally triggered social and economic challenges. A 55-minute documentary on the summit produced by the presidency will be on air at the following times: NTA, 8 to 9 p.m. Saturday, January 21st, 2023. Arise News, 8 to 9 p.m. Sunday, January 22nd, 2023. Trust TV, 5 to 6 p.m. Monday, January 23rd, 2023. It will also be on YouTube and all presidential digital platforms. Let's join our sports desk for latest on sports.
Nigeria Scrabble Federation is set to adopt an in-depth summary, analysis, player-by-player projection, word power, dexterity, game strength and experience on the board as yardsticks for selection of the country's team to the World Championship in Las Vegas, USA come July. The federation has slated January 26 to 28 to conduct a 3-day national trials to select top 20 ranked players, with 3 female players and wild cards as only players who have competed in NSF-rated tournaments between January 1 and 22 will be invited to the trials.
In this qualifier, the players are going to play about 30 games, all the top players, and the top or the best player after the 30 games will get an automatic slot, while the ratings will be done, and then the next 9 players will also be selected to represent the country.
At the ongoing Australian Open, Andy Murray dug deep to defeat Thanasi Kokinakis in a 5-set thriller that lasted 5 hours 45 minutes and reached the 4th round of the tournament. The 35-year-old endured the same fate, needing to go full stretch against Matteo Berrettini in the previous round, and next faces Roberto Bautista Agut on Saturday. In the meantime, American Sebastian Korda beat Daniil Medvedev 7-6, 6-3, 7-6, while there were victories for Iga Swiatek over Kristina Boška 6-love, 6-1, and Coco Gauff also breezed into the 4th round against Yelena Ostapenko. Moving on to football, Liverpool versus Chelsea is the pick of the pack in the English Premier League on Saturday, as both sides attempt to bounce back from inconsistent performances this season. Also on Saturday, West Ham United entertain Everton, while attention shifts to the Emirates on Sunday when league leaders Arsenal welcome Manchester United. With sports updates, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
That ends nationwide, but before we go, don't forget NTA's campaign against rape and rapists. Join us. I am Lydia Odijochi. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.